Hey guys, today I want to show you my pedal board that I've been using for a while now, the most part of 21, and planning on moving into 22 playing it. Don't plan on changing it, but if you're watching this channel, you know how it goes. We're always trying to change out our boards. But this one I'm really happy with. It's completely ampless, it's fully direct, it's stereo. If you play on a stage where you need a quiet stage, this might be of benefit for you. If it is, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to help me out and the channel, and if you know anyone who would benefit from this video, feel free to share it with them. But with that, let's jump into the pedal board. So to start it out, it's a rock board by Warwick, and it's a Trace, a TRES 3.1 pedal board. I'm using the Pedal Power, or the Voodoo Labs Pedal Power 2, and I actually dual lock that underneath the board right here in this little opening, and then I actually run the standard Line 6 power supply that came with the Stomp, and I mount that underneath the board as you can see here, and then I plug it into the Pedal Power 2 as you can see. I know that there's other power supplies that can run this, but this just works for now and it saves me money on buying another power supply. Alright, so let's go through the signal flow. I usually have a wireless system on stage that I plug into that first, and then out of that I go into the Walrus Deep 6. This is a version 3. Out of that into the Moore Tender Octaver, which is a POG clone. Out of that into the Benson preamp, which I use as an always-on pedal. Out of the Benson into the Jackson Audio Golden Boy, which is like 4 drives and 4 boosts in one, but I typically just use the same drive and boost the whole time, but that's available if you like that kind of thing. It also does like this ramping thing, which I'll show you in a minute, which is really cool too. And then out of that into the volume pedal, out of the volume pedal into the input of the Stomp, and then I'm coming stereo out into the GFI Specular Tempest, which I run different delays and reverbs. I pretty much just use the same 2 settings all the time, and then stereo out of that left and right into the board or into the interface, in this case into Logic. And that is the setup as it is. Now I'm using the Iridium in the effects loop of the Stomp, and as you can see in this layout here, I have an effects loop set up there, which is triggering the Irdium, and then I have the Morningstar MC6, which is controlling all the blocks in the Stomp. And so just real quick, the different blocks that I have going on. Foot switch A, I have that routed to a tube screamer. Foot switch B is actually a comp boost is what I call it, and all it's doing is it's boosting the level from 0.7 to +2, and that's just giving me a little lift on little clean riffs where I don't want to drive the amp more. I'll just hit that and it'll give me a little bit of lift. From there, it goes into this stereo delay that I made. It's just 2 different delays, 2 simple delays in the Stomp, 2 mono simple delays that I've panned left and right, and one of them has a dotted 8 and one of them has a quarter note time signature, and I pan those hard left, hard right, and I control that with foot switch D, and that turns both of those on. Then foot switch E is controlling this tape delay, which is set to a dotted 8 note. And then from there, foot switch C is controlling this pitch vibrato, and I have that ran pretty subtle. And then from there, the glitz reverb, which is routed to foot switch F, and that is just a really big washy reverb. Now I'm using the 2 different reverbs in here, a Spatium and the Shimmer in the GFI, and then on this triple switch I can control the different parameters. I have this foot switch to go through the different presets, and then I have this foot switch to tap in the time signature, so tap tempo, and then this middle one I have set to a favorites, which also serves as a big washy reverb, a little bit different sound. I'll show you that here in a minute too. Cool. So that is the board and the signal flow. Let's jump through some of the sounds. Here is the Deep 6 running into the Stomp as I have it set up right now. The Benson preamp I have on all the time for the most part, unless I need to get really clean. I'm going to switch to the middle pickup here. Bridge. So that's on all the time, and it's really cool because it's kind of subtle. If you pick lightly, it cleans up. But then if I dig in, it breaks up a little bit. So that's pretty cool. From there, I have my first overdrive, which this Jackson is pretty cool because it ramps up. Here's first, second, third, fourth, and then back to the first stage of the gain here. And so this is my first stage drive. Let me switch to the bridge. Now with this Golden Boy, there is a little bit of a delay when hitting the foot switch for both the drive and the boost. It's not super noticeable when you're playing live. I don't really see it as a hindrance that much, and so if that bothers you, something to know about that pedal. It doesn't really bother me, so just want to note that. So again, here's the first stage. And then I can ramp up, I'll show you that. So that's really cool, and then you hit that with the boost. So pretty wide range of drive with that one. I'm typically always using a reverb on all the time. I just left it off to kind of show you this, but typically I'm at least running this Spatium in channel A, and that sounds like this. And then I have another reverb here, which is the shimmer, and that sounds like this. Right, and then from there I have the Tender Octaver. Again, this is not the order that I have it. I went through that earlier, but this is just kind of some different sounds. And so the Tender Octaver is a POG style clone, and it tracks really well. So let me do it without the reverb to show you how it tracks. I'll add some delay. Cool, and then so from there I'll walk you through just some of the different blocks that I have on the Stomp. So again, here's kind of my always on sound. Then I have the Tube Screamer, which that just sounds really good. And so from there, it goes into the left and right syncopated delay. So I use that for different leads and stuff. And then the just the tape delay, I actually kind of have this on all the time usually. And here's what that sounds like. Add some reverb to it. Here is the pitch. Let me see exactly what's called. It's called the pitch vibrato. So that sounds really cool. And then this is the big wash reverb with it. So that sounds nice. And then I have the favorite switch, which is a different washy reverb, more of a shimmer thing. So let me show you what that sounds like. All right, so that is pretty much the setup as I have it right now. What's really cool about this setup, having the Iridium go through the effects loop, is I have the option to bypass the Iridium altogether. So I'm usually using the Iridium all the time, but say I want to use the Stomp and some of the patches that I've made, because I've made some patches that I really like, and sometimes I want to use those instead of the Iridium, especially for recording and stuff like that. So for example, I've made this Morgan MVP23. I know there's not a Morgan amp in the Stomp or in Helix, but I've made something that sounds close to that, and I made an IR from an actual Morgan MVP23, and here's what that sounds like. Now, going to this, the Irdium is now bypassed, and here's what this patch sounds like. And it takes pedals nice. So that's another option if I want to do that and bypass the Iridium altogether. Sometimes I want to do that when I'm recording. I want different sounds, different amps altogether, and that gives me the ability to do that. Now I know that the Iridium has different amps in there too, which is versatile, and you can do a similar thing with that. But I find that this works for my purpose, especially in the studio, being able to jump from some of the patches that I've made on here, and then also the Irdium. I've actually thought of a really cool idea to make another patch, a stereo dual amp patch in the HX Stomp, pan the Irdium out hard left, and then one of my patches that I've made hard right, and run 2 amps at the same time. I thought that was kind of a cool idea because I could use the Iridium and the Stomp both for amps, and yeah, but that's for a different video. If you want to see that, let me know down in the comments, and I could make that and do a video showing you how that sounds. So that is the pedal board. I hope it was helpful for you. If you have any questions, leave those down in the comments, and I'll be sure to get back to you on that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. Have a blessed day, and we'll see you next time.